We're looking ahead to week 6 in the NBA. How the schedule plays out. Guess what? It's another weird week. We're talking about all of that in this show. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and do you come with a car? I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter as always, at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use the code in all lowercase LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Week 6 is upon us in the NBA, so we're going to talk about it. And as I mentioned already, it's a weird one because, the schedule. Well, let's just talk about it because the schedule is strange. Again, we have our usual rhythm in an NBA season, an NBA week. We're expecting always big games on Wednesday, big games on Friday, very low volume on Thursday, lowish on Tuesday. Weekends are sort of in the middle. Mondays can go either way. That's usually the pattern of things, right? Nah, not this week. Nah, we're just going all over the shop. 5 games on Monday. Okay, it's a light start to the week. 8 games on Tuesday. Oh, we're doing this, are we? Now, I know why. Before you jump in, I know why. It is the in-season tournament. We are getting to the end of the in-season tournament. These are the final pool games of the in-season tournament. So we've got 8 games on Tuesday. Also, what do you think of the in-season tournament? I was pretty skeptical of it when it was announced. I think it's been good. I think it's been really good. I love the point differential part of it. I love the running up the score and pounding the shit out of your opponents. I love the courts. I love the jerseys. I think it's going to be super exciting when we get to this single game elimination. Single game elimination is the best way to decide anything. And people will always tell me, yeah, but there's so much variance. Good. I love it. It's great. It's so much better as an entertainment and viewing product. And I think when we head into those games, it's going to be great. And it does take time to build prestige into a title. And it's obviously not going to be as prestigious as the NBA championship. But I think it's been really, really impressive and really good so far. Obviously, there's things that need to still be adjusted and all that sort of stuff and tweaks that you make along the way. But I think it's been awesome. Anyway, 5 games Monday, 8 games Tuesday, 7 games Wednesday. That's a very good week so far. Very nice spread out games. 9 games Thursday. Whoa, hang on. Usually we have 2 on a Thursday. 9 on a Thursday is a lot, and I love it. I love 9 on a Thursday. Yes, it's their standard national TV day. I don't care. Just get the games on, mate. 6 on a Friday. That's low. 12 on Saturday. All right, there's a big boy. There's a busy one. And then none on Sunday. What? Why do we have none on Sunday? Well, I actually don't 100% know what they're doing except for this. This is what I believe why there is 0 on Sunday. Well, not why I believe. I'm like 99.9% sure why there's 0 on Sunday. Because week 7, we have no games on the schedule yet. So, what we do, or what the NBA is doing that week, remember, this is what will happen. Every single team will play 2 games in week 7. The 2 teams who make the IST final will play a 3rd game, which will not count for fantasy or regular season standings. It'll just be the NBA Cup title game. So they have Sunday off. That enables them to put out the new schedule. It also enables to give that day of rest so that they can make the schedule make sense. Because you don't want to have all these teams playing on that Sunday and then you've got situations where there's too many like back-to-back-to-backs or whatever it is to try and work out timing and all that sort of stuff to make week 7 work. So I believe that Sunday has 0 games so that they can set the schedule out properly for week 7. It's going to make my week 7 preview show really hard to do. In fact, I don't even know how I'm going to do it. Because also for next week in terms of week 7 and the schedule, it's probably just every team plays 2 games. So have at it. I don't know. It's going to be a weird schedule preview week for next week. Literally not something we've never done, and we'll see how it goes. But so we have got 6 days this week with games on. Only 6. That is all. And it's a weird week. Let's embrace change. Let's embrace chaos. Not many teams play 4 games this week. So usually when you have a team that plays 2 games or even a 3-game week, you're at a disadvantage. You go, that's pretty shit. But when only 6 teams, and that's all we've got, only 6 teams play 4 games this week, it's not as big of a deal. You've got Denver, Detroit, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Pelicans, and the Jazz. Now, having players on any of those 6 teams is a massive advantage. So, you've got Jokic, great advantage. You've got fringe Pistons players, the return of Bojan Bogdanovic and Jaden Ivey. Asar Thompson, I don't know if he's really counted as fringe. Norman Powell for the Clippers. Zubats, Tice. Reddish for the Lakers. Pelicans, Dyson Daniels. The Jazz, Olynyk, Keontae George. Horton Tucker, perhaps. The return of Walker Kessler there. They are probably should have talked about who the teams were. Nuggets, Pistons, Clippers, Lakers, Pelicans, Jazz have 4 games for the week. I'm going to run through every team that plays 3. There's a lot of them. There's 22 teams that play 3 games for the week. Atlanta, Brooklyn, Charlotte, Chicago, Cleveland, Dallas, Golden State, Houston, Indiana, Memphis, Miami, Milwaukee, Minnesota, the Knicks, the Thunder, the Magic, the Sixers, the Suns, the Blazers, the Kings, the Raptors, and the Washington Wizards. All of those teams play 3 games for the week. And then there are 2 teams who play 2 games. The Boston Celtics and the San Antonio Spurs. This is good for the Celtics, and this is good if you have Kristaps Porzingis because he's dealing with a calf problem. And we never want someone to get injured, but people always get injured, right? I don't know the severity of Porzingis' injury at this point, but when someone gets hurt and then their upcoming week is a very low volume week, it's great because it means you've only lost those 2 games, which would have been not a great week for someone like Porzingis anyway. Now, maybe this injury extends for a long period of time. I don't know. But this is like a perfect, if Porzingis is going to get injured at any point, or any Celtics player, or any Spurs player for that matter, this is the perfect time for it to happen. You're not missing a 4-game week. You're missing a 2-game week, and then the next week after that is also a 2-game week because of the in-season tournament. So even if he was to miss 2 weeks, you'd miss 4 games. That is the best case scenario that you could find for any of these players on these 2 teams. So while you might look at it as a bad thing, in certain situations, that can actually turn out to be a really good thing for those players. With a 2-game week backed onto another 2. Now, if you've got a Jason Tatum, who he's healthy currently and he's rolling, having 4 games across 2 weeks is obviously shitful, right? That's not good. But there is swings and roundabouts to all this stuff. So bad schedules on the surface are not always bad in every situation. I guess that's the convoluted and maybe misguided point that I'm trying to get across. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America, and it's also, coincidentally, but maybe not coincidentally, the easiest and the most exciting way to play DFS. It's you v numbers. That is all it is. It's not thousands of players. It's not sharks and pros and spreadsheets. It's players' projected stats, and they put them up, and you knock them down. You say more or less. That is all you need to do. Whether that's points or rebounds or assists or steals or blocks or fantasy points or whatever. They've got so many different stat categories, so many different players. You choose between 2 to 6 of those individual player projections. You choose more or less, and you can win up to 25 times your entry fee back. You can also play alongside some of PrizePicks' favorite players like old mate Meek Mill or comedian Andrew Schultz. You can now find the community plays under the promo tab on the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the PrizePicks community each week. Of course, Meek Mill is not necessarily, he's not categorized as an old mate on the side. He's categorized as a rapper, but to us, he's old mate Meek Mill. They've also got the reboot policy, so your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If they don't return in the second half, that player gets, in all caps, rebooted. There you go. I've got to yell it loud because it's in all caps. Go to PrizePicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use the code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100 dues. That is PrizePicks.com/LockedOnNBA. The code is LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. Okay, we are now getting into the meat of the schedule. And again, it's such a weird week that we can look at quality games, which we go into because that's what we do on this show. We can stream Monday through Friday. Our stream cutoff for a usual setup of 10 starters, 3 bench, 10 starters, 4 bench is if you play 9, if there's 9 or fewer games on that day, it's a streamable day. So we can do Monday through Friday. Probably can't do Saturday with 12 games on, and sure as shit we can't do Sunday when there are 0 games on. So we can stream Monday through Friday. We have a bunch of teams. All the teams that play 4 games, Denver, Detroit, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Pelicans, and the Jazz, they have 3 quality games. the Knicks, the Sixers, and the Raptors and the Wizards also have 3 quality games. So Knicks, Philadelphia, Raptors, and Wizards, all 3 of their games are quality games. And then the 4 game teams also have 3 quality games. Every other team has 2 quality games, which makes sense considering there are 5 out of 6 days that qualify as a quality game day. That makes sense. So we've got 10 teams who have the quality game advantage. Denver, Detroit, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Pelicans, the Jazz, the Knicks, the Sixers, and the Raptors and the Wizards. They have the quality game advantage for the week with 3 quality games over everybody else having 2. Right? So when we're looking at attacking streamers or prioritizing streamers for the week, these 10 teams get the leg up over the other 20 teams. That brings me to another question. I'm just going to throw random questions at you guys and you can answer in the chat or in the comments. How many teams do you think is an ideal amount for the NBA to have long term? Obviously, we know they're going to try and expand out to 32 teams soon. What do you think is the ideal amount of teams that the league should have? I reckon, right? 42. Eventually. Play everyone twice. You keep your 82 games. It's going to take a long time to get there. I think having 42 teams would be interesting. Maybe not. Maybe that's too much. Maybe 36 is the next step. Anyway, I don't know why I mentioned that. Probably because in my NBA 2K franchise, I'm expanding it out, and we're like 12 years in, and we're up to 36 teams, and it's going all right. All right, let's look at the stream zone. Because, we have got streaming opportunities this week. It's not as clear-cut as in other weeks. We have those 5 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to stream for the week. And as usual, the average of amount of streams or the regular amount of streams or waiver ads a team has for the week is 4. Your leagues might have 7. That's default on ESPN, but we know there's a lot of things that are dumb on ESPN. Your league might be ridiculous and have like 40 ads for the season. A stupid way to go about it. You might be like the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Bowl where you've got unlimited ads for the week, but you can only play 40 games. So, streaming's the value of that changes. I know that. The average for the majority of people is 4 ads for the week. So, how are we going to approach this? Well, given there is no Monday, Tuesday back-to-back, we can't start with a back-to-back. We can do a Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back, and that's Denver, the Kings, and the Raptors. And then we can switch that player out for the Spurs, who, as I said, they have 2 games this week. They've got a Thursday, Friday back-to-back. That is it. So no Monday, no Tuesday, no Wednesday, no Saturday, no Sunday. 2 games for the week and a back-to-back. That's the second time that's happened this season. It's stupid, but that is what has happened. The other way you could approach this is you could go single stream Monday, single stream Tuesday. You could attack the Wednesday, Thursday back-to-back where there are a lot more teams playing, and that gives you, 4 ads or 4 games for 3 ads? You can't get a gigantic advantage this week, and in the end, you can end up with 1 roster spot using 4 ads. You can get 5 games out of it. Or can you even? No, not rigging it. Monday, you can get 5 games. 5 games out of 4 ads. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's the most you can get. But again, in the situation like this, if you do use the Monday, the Tuesday, Wednesday, the Thursday, Friday, that's 5 games with 3 ads. That's a good way to go about it. And that leaves you 1 more ad for longer term stashing, for if someone foolishly drops somebody or just a player that you like for a bit of longer term, even if the schedule doesn't suit them. That is why often we want to maximize games played for minimum ads so that we're not chasing games with every single waiver move. The most games you can get extra this week is 5. So if you can do it in 3 moves, it's better than doing it in 4 moves. You could wait and not use the Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back and attack the Wednesday, Thursday when there are a lot more teams doing it. But then that means that you are limiting the amount of, or you're maximizing, no, let's try again. You are getting the most games in, but you're using more waiver moves to do it. I hope that makes sense. It's not ideal that the Spurs are the only team that we can attack with the Thursday, Friday back-to-back because they have shit-house streaming. Now, I guess Trey Jones has been dropped in some spots, so he'd be a stream guy. You could consider Malachi Branham in a 300-team league. There's Chetty Osman. Maybe there's Champagne, but he's back out of the rotation. So they're actually one of the worst streaming teams there. But Trey Jones is going to be that guy if he's available. And then for the Tuesday, Wednesday, you got Denver, Sacramento, and Toronto. So that's where Fanapants comes in. It's where Harrison Barnes comes in. It's where Gary Trent comes in. And for Denver, who knows? Is Jamal Murray back? Maybe. Then Reggie Jackson and Christian Brown are probably those guys. Denver allegedly is going to make changes to their rotation. And that means we're probably going to get Justin Holiday, which is disgusting. Are we going to get DeAndre Jordan as well? Also disgusting. Are we going to get Hunter Tyson? Maybe. I talked about this at length on the recap show yesterday. So you can go hear some extended thoughts on that if you really want to. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. And FanDuel has updated the copy here, and I still don't like it. But they say, as the weather gets colder, they say the NFL offers stay hot on FanDuel. It's true. The NFL offers do stay hot on FanDuel. But so do the NBA offers. Because the NBA is what we're here to talk about. So right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. So if you're looking to get those bonus bets in, why don't you bet against a team who might have lost 12 consecutive games? Not looking at anybody apart from a team who is automobile related and resides in the Central Division in the Eastern Conference. Could be anybody. I don't know. But you can get $150 if your team wins on that $5 moneyline bet. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. And then they've got all those bet types, parlay, spreads, over-unders, totals, player props, futures. FanDuel has it all. So go to FanDuel.com/lockedon and keep cracking with the NFL and the NBA season and the in-season tournament. Finals are coming up. See who you think's going to win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. So let's look at some schedule quirks, shall we? Because I mentioned it already, but the Spurs only have 2 games, and it's a back-to-back on Thursday, Friday. An insane schedule. It is what it is. But they are the only team who has a 3-day break this week. Often we get these weird 3-day breaks in the middle of a week. No one has it. The Spurs don't play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they play Thursday, Friday. But no one else has a 3-day break. So there's not even these weird situations of like, we've got our 3 games and you play Monday, then you play Saturday, Sunday. So holding and dropping, and there's none of that happening. Like the biggest gap you've got is 2 games. And as I said, it's just a weird week where there's no massive advantage to these elaborate streaming schedule plans that you can have. So it is just weird. I don't know why I kept that. Oh, that's from the previous slide. Screwed that up. Josh, L from you. Let's have a look at 3 games in 4 nights, because there actually are a lot of these chunky little plays for the week. So if we start Sunday to Wednesday, the Denver Nuggets. So we're trying to get a step up here. You can use these guys Sunday to get you an extra game played for the week of week 5. And then they start a 3 game in 4 nights on Sunday. So Denver and Toronto do that. We've already talked about Reggie Jackson. You can talk about Justin Holiday if you're like a masochist. Is it sadist or masochist? I don't know. It's one of those two. Not big into it. For Toronto, you look at Gaz Trent, who's the ideal one there. Maybe it is the big sneeze himself, Precious Achiuwa. But the Raptors and the Nuggets start a 3 game in 4 night on Sunday. On Monday, there are 4 teams that begin a 3 game in 4 night stand. It is your Detroit Pistons, it is the Clippers, the Lakers, and the Jazz. Obviously, that means there's a back-to-back in there for the Clippers. And they are, I believe, beginning yesterday, starting a 5 game in 7 night run. So we're going to watch Kawhi and PG and even groin strain legend Norm Powell to see how their bodies hold up. But there's a 3 and 4 night stretch there, Monday through Thursday. So we are looking at Pistons, Jaden Ivey, Bojan Bogdanovic. Clippers, Norman Powell, Daniel Tice. Lakers, Cam Reddish, maybe if he's back. Torian Prince with Rui Hachimura, Christian Wood, the Crucifix perhaps. And the Jazz, Olynyk and George are the 2 best ones there, but there's Horton Tucker in that mix also. The Tuesday-Friday grouping, there are 2 teams that have a 3 and 4, and you'll notice a repeat name there. It is the Toronto Raptors. The Knicks also have that 3 and 4. So the Raptors start with a 3 and 4 on Sunday, and they also go 3 and 4 to Friday, meaning that Sunday through Friday, the Raptors are chunked in. And then there are a lot of teams that play Wednesday through Saturday, 3 games in 4 nights. Because we've squeezed them all in to give a 0 game Sunday, you've got Denver, Detroit, the Clippers, the Lakers. You'll notice a lot of the same names there. Memphis, the Pelicans, the Magic, the Suns, and the Jazz play 3 games in 4 nights beginning Wednesday. But remembering that on Saturday, 12 teams play, so your streaming ability is reduced. No one has a 4 games in 5 nights spread going here. But we do have a few playing 4 in 6. Starting Sunday, Denver, the Knicks, and the Raptors play 4 games in 6 nights. So streaming some of these guys, the Knicks are a little bit harder, but it is quickly. It's hard. It's DiVincenzo, it's Hartenstein. There is some value in those guys, even though they can be iffy and hard to predict game by game. Getting 4 in 6 is useful, and probably even more useful than anyone on Denver and Toronto, maybe except Gary Trent. And then if we start Monday, there are 6 teams that play 4 games in 6 nights, but they are the 4 teams that we already talked about, or the 6 teams, that already play 4 games for the week because there's only 6 active game days this week. So it's Denver, Detroit, it's the Clippers, it's the Lakers, it's the Pelicans, and It is the Utah Jazz. How do the back-to-backs shake out for the week? There are only the two teams that have the Sunday-Monday combination, Denver and Portland. So Portland do have some options. This for deeper leagues. You've got Duop Reith. You've got Jabari Walker, Tamani Kamara, Matisse Thybulle. Skylar Mays is out of the rotation, so forget that one. Monday, Tuesday, nobody has the back-to-back. Tuesday, Wednesday, it's Houston, Sacramento, and Toronto. So they've got some value there to stream in that back-to-back option. To end the week, there are a lot more back-to-backs. Wednesday, Thursday, we've got Detroit, the Clippers, the Lakers, and the Jazz. Thursday, Friday, it's the Knicks and the Spurs. And Friday, Saturday, Dallas. I said before that you could go with the Spurs on that Thursday, Friday for your stream plan. Obviously, you could go the Knicks as well. I don't know how that pushed in for me, so I do apologize for that. On that Thursday, Friday, you do have the Knicks playing that. I'm just going to double check that. Maybe I'm wrong on that. No, it is the Knicks. The Knicks and the Spurs have that Thursday, Friday back-to-back. So there you go. And then Friday, Saturday, Dallas, Denver, Memphis, the Pelicans, the Magic, and the Suns have the Friday, Saturday back-to-back to round us out. That is 6 teams playing the Friday, Saturday back-to-back to end everything. Well, not everything. We're not getting that nihilistic. The weekly league situation, who are we adding that we might be able to start for the week? So obviously we want to attack one of the 6 teams who play 4 games. So we're looking at Kelly Olynyk, Keontae George from the Jazz are really strong ads with 4 games this week. Jaden Ivey for the Pistons has 4 games this week as well. You've got Norman Powell with 4 games. You've got Daniel Tice with 4 games also. So they are really solid options for this week ahead. Eric Gordon has only 3 games, but because we're expecting Beal to be out this whole time, there is some level of doubt around Durant. I think Gordon's 3 games puts him into the discussion to be rosterable and startable in a weekly league for categories. For points leagues, the names are relatively similar. We've got Keontae George, we've got Jaden Ivey, Kelly Olynyk, Norman Powell, Daniel Tice is in this mix. He's playing 20 on a night, mate. That's enough with a 4-game week when everyone else is playing 3 games. And then Horton Tucker's in there to a better points league guy than category league guy. In general, though, just attack the 4. Attack the 4 games, especially in a points league where that volume matters even more. But attack the 4-game teams. We've got a clear delineation. 6 teams playing 4 games, 2 teams playing 2 games, 22 teams playing 3 games. Getting the extra game in is an extra 33% game time versus those 3-game teams, and that does make a difference. So if we have a look at the teams that play 2 games, the only guys I'd really consider starting are Jason Tatum and Victor Wembanyama. You could make an argument for a couple of things. You could make an argument for Porzingis, but I don't know about his health, so I probably wouldn't want to risk it with only 2 games, because if he misses one, it's 1 game, you're cooked. I don't think I'd want to start Drew Holiday. I wouldn't want to start Derek White, and I wouldn't want to start Jaylen Brown with how he is playing. On the Spurs, I could make an argument for Zach Collins to 2 games, but that's more for deeper leagues, 14-teamers. You could make an argument for Johnson and Vassell, but as a general rule, the only ones I look at as absolute locks from the Spurs and the Celtics are Jason Tatum and Victor Wembanyama for the week ahead with their 2 games. And that is it. Week 6. Remember, in-season tournament is impacting the schedule this week and next week, week 7 in particular. Follow this podcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and on the Odyssey app. If you're here on YouTube, you thumb it up and you leave your comments down below. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.